If you pay for a flow service provider, there's a lot of information that gets put out onto your screen. You're able to see calls, puts, some come in at bid, some come in at ask. It's a lot of information to digest, and you're supposed to make a play on this, but what if you're reading the information wrong? So today we're going to cover that. I'm going to try and get her done in under 5 minutes. Here we go. So let me paint a scene. Market opens. You're itching for a trade. It's time to print tendy. Stocks only go up. So you see a Myrna 400 call, 1.3 million behind it. And you're slapping the ask on that bad boy. Next thing you know, you're down 20%. You say, all right, next pop, I'll sell. An hour later, you're down 75%. Well, you might as well diamond hand it now. But you thought flow didn't lie. So we're going to go over these calls and puts, the difference between ask and bid, the urgency behind, and how to identify that using implied volatility. We're also going to talk about information overload and how to actually utilize the services you're paying for. And then hopefully that will teach you how to prevent flow FOMO. So there are two parties involved in every trade. And to be successful, we must understand the other party's intention. So you have calls and puts. Calls are the market participant wants to own the right to call away 100 shares or the market equivalent of 100 shares at an agreed upon price and time. This price is your strike and the time is your expiration. So without knowing the buyer's intentions, we may assume that this is bullish activity. And likewise for puts, the market participant wants to own the right to put up for sale 100 shares or the market equivalent of 100 shares. And that price is your strike and the time is your expiration. And without knowing the buyer's intention, you can assume that this is bearish activity. So generally, we can break this exchange into ask is just the purchaser of the contract. They pay a premium for the purchase. Bid is the seller of the contract. They receive a premium for the sale. So for calls, the ask is the high side of the bid-ask spread, the purchaser of the call. And for the bid is the low side of the bid-ask spread. It's the seller of the call. For puts, the high side, that's the high side of the bid-ask spread when you see it come in at ask. And for bid, vice versa. So there's 4 ways to identify direction. So for Tesla, 1200 call, 17.8A, January 7th, 2022. So this trade would be a bullish trade because you're having an opening of a new position or the closure of premium writers. How do we know that? The opening of a new position, we can see here, the ask, 17.8A. That would be a bullish. Same thing with this. We have a Tesla 1000 put, 15.9 on the bid. So this could be a put being closed out or written in exchange for premium. They could sell to open this put. The Tesla 1200 call, 17.8 bid. B, bearish. Calls being closed out or written in exchange for premiums. Tesla 1000 put at the ask. That's also bearish. It's the opening of a new position or the closure of premium writers. If you think understanding bid-ask side on puts and calls is enough to start making you money, you're wrong. The urgency behind the exchange is the most important piece of information. So we have 4 new opponents that enter the ring. We have above ask, below bid, sweepers, and implied volatility. Above ask, this is when the participant wants to be involved in the play immediately. Below bid is when they want out. Sweepers, this is when they want to be filled on the position immediately. They will sweep through multiple exchanges in order to get filled. Now there's another one that's called a block trade. A block trade is when they go through a single exchange. There's not much urgency with that. And then we'll look at implied volatility. We want to know, is it dropping or increasing on that specific strike and expiration that we are interested in? The IV can represent a decrease in open interest. So which set of flow gives you the most information here? You notice that this flow began hitting the tape with an IV of 72. Let's take a look at some examples. So here we have Apple, FSEL, TSP, and FTCH. Now for Apple, we're seeing that it is an ask side put. There's a large dollar amount. It is a block trade. It's bearish. But is it a hedge? Is it a closing of premium? There's not enough answers to spend 11.4 on this flow. For TSP, we have bid side calls, sweeper, IV is decreasing, bearish, but what if they're short calls as a hedge against their primary position? I'd really like to see some below bids come in to follow this flow. For FSEL, we have an above ask call sweeper, and it's just one. I may follow the play if I liked how the chart looked, but it's not something I'd follow blindly. What about this, FTCH? So this is a textbook play to follow. Look how IV climbs as the participant is sweeping the market in order to get filled. We have the same strike and expiry, and then they're hammering it home at the end with an above ask sweeper at the end of the day. This is the flow you should be looking for. These come in every few days. Now I know that's a ton of information to take in. You should never enter the day planning to make a trade. If a play comes, you'll have an opportunity to get in. If it moons before you get in, there will be other opportunities for entry or something else that comes along. Flow, much like candlesticks, is just information. It is our responsibility as traders to preserve capital and be select with the exposure that we have to the market. The market will open whether you're out of funds or not. So I hope this information helps you the next time you see a Moderna 400 call hit your screen. I'll be putting out similar content to this in the future, so if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Thank you.